Hi, Stacey. Thank you so much for joining me in this podcast episode. Really appreciate it. How are you today?
I am fantastic. Great to be here.
Yeah, pleasure is mine, and super excited to have a conversation with you. We have an interesting topic to talk about, like how to add in zero in our business without like hustling or like working too hard on our business. So before that, I'd love to look more about yourself. Like, how did you come up in business world, and how you become an entrepreneur yourself?
Yeah, well, it's funny because it goes way back to third grade when I was about 7 years old.
Yeah.
I started my first business selling stationery, which back in the day, before emails existed. And I would buy it wholesale, sell it for retail, and go door to door, all over selling it. And that was to fund my very first trip on an airplane by myself to go see my aunt.
Oh,
And because I wanted to go see her. And that like it progressed into by fifth grade, I was selling B2B and I started selling, poinsettias to businesses before the holidays. And
mm,
I got big orders and, I had gone into a sales career and then I was always at the top of the sales career, like number one or number two, and top in the nation for the big companies I worked for.
yeah.
And my dad had been in sales. He was very entrepreneurial. He was training us on how to do stuff. At the dinner table, we would practice, trial closes and things. And what happened was, um, my dad at the age of 56 got diagnosed with lung cancer. And literally from the end of September till the end of November, he passed away the day before the American Thanksgiving.
Also, sorry
And
to.
so, thank you. So, when that happened, I was in my mid 20s and it really like made me stop because I didn't want that. Like my dad, he had left so many of his things of his bucket list undone.
Yeah.
He didn't go to Europe with us when I lived overseas. He never came to visit me. Like he he was always working and trying to provide, and he did provide a good family life for us, but he didn't spend as much time with us as he would have liked.
Right.
So
Yeah.
really, I let that be my. I did a lot of real deep spiritual work at the time, and journaling and all of that to try to figure out like what the heck am I going to do.
Mm,
And what happened was is in the at the time I was in the beauty industry and I was selling equipment. And when I would go into these salons, I would do a workup of their business, just like a consultant. And I would
yeah.
look at like, how much they're making per client, what's their average sale, lifetime value, their marketing, their sales process, all of that. And then I would help them with selling the equipment to then get more money out of it. And I had a client that she increased her sales 200% in 1 year. Like,
Wow.
just, and I was like, this is so much more fun than selling equipment. Like, I really liked that. And so that's how I got my segue into coaching, was that I really had a calling to say, like, I need to do something different.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot of the bro marketers now all of a sudden say, oh, don't hustle. Well, it's easy for them to say don't hustle after they have their $1 million or multi-million dollars.
Yeah.
But it's, most of them are saying that after they've burnt out, after they've ruined their marriages,
Mm,
after they've, haven't seen their kids forever. So my passion is really to help my clients create this adding a zero. I've had clients go from 0 to 6 figures, 6 to 7 figures, and even from 6 to 8 figures. I've
yeah.
had several clients go from 6 to 8 figures, but still be able to go to their kids' games, go, like one of my clients, 8 figure business, his daughter was having trouble during COVID. And he just said, you know what, I'm going to take her away for the weekend.
Yeah.
And, took off on a Thursday and made it a long weekend, like a mental health thing with his
Yeah.
kid. And that's the sort of thing that I really truly believe, that business success without life success is not success.
Yeah, it's so true. Like a time is most valuable thing. Like with money, you can't really buy time. Once you realize it, like with the health and everything, when we say like when we're gonna make X amount of money, then I'll be retired by age 60, 65, then you come up with like lots of health issues. Like you don't have the energy to spend the time with your family. You don't have the time for like you have to visit like a doctor appointments more than you can visit your family, your grandchildren, and all that. So yeah, we have to take control of like even though we are building a business, we are working on our career. the same time we need to like give time to like other people, like family members, kids. Like kids doesn't stay always like a kid. They're gonna grow up, they're gonna be older,
Yeah,
they're
they're
gonna
not going to
get
want to spend
yeah.
time with you.
And you don't
That's for
understand,
sure.
like my first child, like he's going to be nearly two in 2 months' time, and time is just flying. And I have like a blessing, like I'm working from home with my running my business and everything, so I can spend most of my time with him, like waking up in the morning, in a lunch break, I'll see him. Then in between the podcast call, I'm going to see him. Then evening, I'm spending whole evening together, like all weekend together. I take 3 days off, like a Friday out of work, Saturday, Sundays, normally weekends. So I'm spending almost all of my time with him because I know like the time is precious and it flies away because I didn't see my dad when I was like a young child, like yourself, like I used to run a successful restaurant business. So when he's busy, like he used to come 2, 3 a.m. in the morning and get up at 6 a.m. and go to work. So I hardly see him. By the time I wake up or by the time I'm in bed, like he's not there with me. So
Right,
I used
right.
to
So
listen
it
with
sounds like you
him.
lived the same thing as
Yeah,
I did, of like our
yeah,
parents were like, they worked to provide and that was their love, but you're not doing the same thing with your son, which is
yeah,
great.
definitely. And I
That's
experienced that.
fantastic.
Like that's why I can relate you with you. Like that's why I realized like I need to kind of business where I can be my lifestyle, my family, myself is priority other than like the money I'm making or career I'm having. So
Right.
how do you do that? Like how do you add in zero in order to like scale up business? Because we've always been heard, especially from America, like you have to hustle, hustle in order to make a like successful business. How do you come up with the like numbers like from 6 figure to 7 figure or 7 figure to 8 figure? How do we go from there like without hustling or like burning ourselves?
Well, I think first thing it's the mindset. So I used to work with Tony Robbins. I was vice president of
Yeah.
consulting for his business mastery program. And so I know everything goes back to mindset and
Mm.
really, it's the mindset of like, listen, the work expands to the amount of time that you allot to it. And it's there, like I always tell my husband, there's always going to be more work to do. Like you could
Yeah.
work 24/7 and you would never finish. So the thing is to say like, all right, I'm going to have an abundance mindset. I infuse those abundance principles throughout the things I work with my clients on, with their marketing, with their sales, with their, lifestyle design. And then we start looking at the mindset stuff is really infused. It's not like, oh, we're just going to start with your mindset. It's infused throughout the whole program of coaching. And then what we start doing is we start looking for hidden profits. So hidden profits are the areas where you're leaving money on the table that are simple and easy to do without doing any more marketing or advertising.
Right.
So I'll give you an example of one. So um, one of the my clients, he canceled his coaching call and he said, I can't come. He got $100,000 sale. And usually I have something I call the happy dance, that I always celebrate with my clients because I think that's really important. And he's like, Stacey, no, it's not a celebration. And I'm like, how can $100,000 sale not be a celebration? Like, explain, back it up.
Yeah.
And he said, because what happened is his client had gone somewhere else for 7 years. So what happened is he had lost $700,000 in sales over the last 7 years.
Oh well.
So that made me think. Now, this was during the last recession, and it made me think like, there's a lot of people that have clients that have gone somewhere else. And what happens is, if you've ever, and this is something maybe more for women than men, but if you've gone to a hairdresser and then you switch and you go to another hairdresser, most women will never go back to the first hairdresser
Mm.
because they're too shy, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I cheated on her. I'm not going back. It's too uncomfortable. And when I asked hairdressers, I'm like, do you want us back after we go someplace else? And they're like, yeah, of course. Like we understand, like either you couldn't get an appointment or you wanted to try something different. Like we always welcome our clients back.
Yeah.
And so I implemented what's called the come on back strategy of reactivating past clients. So one of my clients took my hidden profits program and it was during the holidays. And I said, she was in like the worst niche for reactivating people over the holidays. Can you guess what it is?
Going to holiday.
Yeah. So no, not going on holiday. It was weight loss.
Okay.
So she had a weight loss program. And I said, oh, this is going to be really difficult
Yeah.
to reactivate people because they want to go eat cookies and do parties and,
Yeah.
not think about what they're eating. And so she said, yeah, but I want to do it. So she did the program. We reactivated. We made a list of her past clients. We made them an offer, and she in 2 weeks generated over $10,000, which, you know, that was like amazing for her. Like,
Yeah.
it increased her sales by over 50%. And so the thing is that every business has clients that you can say, come on back to. So it's an easy way to generate hidden profits without doing any more marketing or advertising.
Mhm.
So it's pure profit. So that's, we look at, I just wrote a book on hidden profits that's coming out soon.
Okay.
So there's lots of hidden profits. The average client finds $85,000 in hidden profits. So that's where we find like the fast money. Then what we start doing is working on like the longer term strategy to scale. And with that, I start with perfect clients. Who are your perfect clients? So everybody's like, well, there's no perfect client. Just like there's no perfect man or woman. Well, there's somebody that's perfect. There's people that are perfect for you, and they're going to be so much easier to work with. They're going to be so much more profitable for you, and they're going to get better results working with you because it's easy, right?
Yeah.
And my clients, I've had clients that have been with me for 14 years now because there's that synergistic thing that they keep growing and growing. And instead of going and getting a new coach every time they, get nervous or want to do something new, they're like, you know what, Stacey understands my business. She knows my challenges. She knows what I want. She knows my marketing. She understands my clients. So you build that synergy together. So we look at what, who are your perfect clients that you have now, and what is it that makes them tick? So you want to look at like, what are their pain points and
Right.
what do they want to move towards? And Tony Robbins always says, people do things for two reasons: to move away from pain or to move towards pleasure. And so
Mm.
we don't want to be fear mongering. Like you see a lot of people like, oh, your life is going to stink. Your business is going to, crash. You want to be talking to what's keeping them up at 2 o'clock in the morning, but also future pacing what they want in the future,
Yeah.
and showing them that that's possible. And I have a client that's been with me for about 2.5 years, and we've revisited perfect clients probably 3 or 4 times, and it keeps getting more and more clear, more and more clear. And she keeps getting better and better clients and has been able to raise her rates as a result of that. So that's really important.
Yeah. And do you find those clients to do the marketing or like a existing database, or
Well,
how
so
do you go
what
about
what we would start with is we would look at who your perfect clients are that you have in your database, who you've worked with in the past, who have gotten the best results working with you. Um, and it might be a niche or it might not.
that?
So I, like, for example, I'm a coach, but I don't just coach coaches. I have people in all different industries, but they all fit a certain profile of high achievers who are ready to add a zero without the hustle.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right. And that takes a certain mindset, because there's some people that are like, no, I'm going to work nights. I'm going to work weekends. That's not a fit. And sometimes I have to, like I had a client who, actually she's added 2 zeros now. She just started, she went to 6 figures, and now she's over 1 million. And, when she first started her first program, I'm like, don't build it in a way that's going to burn you out. Like,
Yeah.
build it in a way that's going to work for you. So then after we have the perfect clients, we then go on to the messaging and the strategic positioning.
Right.
And so I'm a big believer in the fact that a lot of businesses now have been commoditized. So, it used to be just commodities, right? Like wheat and grain and all of that stuff that was commodities. But now what's happened is that people are looking at coaching, and they're comparing pricing. They're looking at web designers and comparing
Mhm.
pricing. And so what you want to do is you want to position yourself in a couture way in a commoditized market. So I'll give you an example. One of my clients has a logistics company. Again, super commoditized industry. if you're familiar with it. And so it's all like, how much can you do getting it from A to B the cheapest as possible? Like, get it there. And so, it's not fun. You're a race to the bottom. And also he's competing against firms that were, $100 million firms, $500 million firms, $1 billion firms. And he was this small business. So we had to look at like who his perfect clients were, and then how is the messaging going to really get into what they're thinking about. And so what we figured out for him is that his clients were, you have this long sales cycle. In his case, his clients are very expensive equipment manufacturers. And so you would have this long sales cycle. It might be 18 months, it might be 3 or 4 years, it could be 5 years. And before the person would replace this piece of equipment. And so they would sell it, they would deliver it. And because they chose the cheapest carrier to get it from A to B, it arrived and it ticked off the client. Right. So here you've built this, all the marketing, all the sales process, all the customer support, all of that, to have the delivery just be like your client's mad that they never want to do business with you again.
Yeah.
So what we looked at in his positioning was like, what would appeal to this client is that our goal is for you to have your client be satisfied with the delivery, right? And so that was a very strategic couture positioning in a very commoditized, like, let me quote you, let me get you the cheapest thing that we can get it from A to B, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. So this is the way to go about though, right? This is the best way to approach a kind of businesses. Like you need to look for like a loophole where you can, without like a hustling, without like a just more, can find out it's inside your business is already existing. The money is there. You just need to find it. It's just in your own home. You just need to look for like where is the big safe where you can pull out a lot of money in there. So yeah, it's the right strategies to whoever wants to add another zero. It's a great way. Also like a referral, right? Like a referral is a great way, like bringing in new clients, whoever you got results and they've been satisfied with your services, probably they never referred you anything. You can reach out to them and get them another 2, 3 new clients in. Probably like a big one.
That's one of the hidden profits in the book,
Yeah.
because I think what happens is everybody, the hidden profit principles, a lot of people are like, okay, there's nothing new under the sun in business, right? Except for like online things. But what happened is the basic business principles people have abandoned because they're chasing that shiny object. They're like, oh, I want to do NFTs, I want to do like Clubhouse, I want to do chat bots, whatever it is. And they don't look at like, what are the principles of like, okay, about referrals, but do you have referral programs built into your company? Right. So what I would look at as a hidden profit is, okay, let's go ask for referrals, but then let's also look at what are those referral points in your business? Like, for example, for a dentist, right? If somebody comes to the dentist and they leave the dentist and they say, oh my gosh, that was amazing, it didn't hurt at all. That is a referral point right there, right? Like, who do you know that is scared to go to the dentist? Like, here's my card, you're giving them a referral point. Anytime somebody has a like satisfaction point, that's a great time to ask for a referral. But you want to bake these into your business so that these are happening on a regular basis, not just sporadically when you're like, oh, I need some more cash flow this month, let's go look for referrals. And I think one of the other great places to ask for referrals is at the beginning, which is funny because a lot of people think, well, they haven't worked with me. But if I think about it, one of my good friends, like she signed up for a conference last year, and she's like, Stacey, this is amazing, you have to come to this conference with me, right? Because her excitement level was here, right? If she'd been in the program for 3 months, her excitement level could be down here. So it's great to ask for referrals when people are in that peak state. Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, everyone wants to go for like a movie, like you rather wants to ask them like at the beginning, right? Like you want to take your friends with you, like let's go to the movie, and then we find out like how's the movie's like. So yeah, it totally makes sense. So yeah, Stacey, it's been a great pleasure having you on the show, and I learned a few things from you as well. So yeah, we're coming to the end of this show. So those who's listening, if anyone wants to learn more about you or find about your book or like your program, where is the best place to find you?
Yeah, you can go to I'm everywhere as Stacey Hylen, Stacey Hylen, Hylen. So you can go to my website, staceyhylen.com. Or if you would like a little mini course on getting more clients and cash into your business, it walks you through ways to find that cash very quickly. It's at moreclientsandcash.com. So I walk you through ways that you can simply, easily, no more marketing, no more costs, get more return on your investment in your business.
Yeah, that'll be
Thanks
great.
for having me.
Thank you so much. So yeah, his pleasure was mine. So yeah, I wish you best of luck with your business and your career. I hope you have a wonderful year. It just only 1 month gone. 11 months is still left. So I hope you crush it. And yeah, thanks for coming today.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Take care. That's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed it, got some value from it from Stacey. So until then, I'll talk to you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.